What it do, y'all? It's your girl Makeup and Travel, and for today's video your girl is here to bring you another declutter. This is going to be the final declutter that I do in this series for this year. I have gone through quite literally everything in my collection. I don't feel as though there's any aspect in my collection that I need to even look into other than this section. I've already done, and I think I've done everything. And today we're going to be doing eyeshadow palettes. I don't know how this is going to go. This is probably going to go awful because I really have curated my eyeshadow palette collection into a collection that I'm really happy with. And I pretty much use and have interest in using everything that is still in my collection to some extent, but I still do want to go through it just to make sure to remember what I have. Sometimes I forget that I have a certain palette, especially like when you see something new, you're like, but do I have that? No. And then you go for something else. So this is just a video for me to try and revive my interest in the collection that I already have and to see if I need to get rid of anything. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a very minimal declutter, if not a collection video, but this will definitely be the last video in this series. And then in the month, I'm thinking of December, I'm going to do an official kind of collection series where I actually show you guys my finished collection, declutter, all of that jazz. And yeah, so if you're interested, just stay tuned. If you're wondering, did I record this look? I did. This is my last look with my 3 Looks 1 palette for my 420 palette. This should already be up, so I will have it linked down below for you guys. I have no jewelry on because I could not be bothered today, and this is a very old sweater, so I don't even know where it's from. I can't help you, I'm sorry. But yeah, if you're interested in seeing this declutter, then let's get into it. Hey guys, so I just wanted to pop in here and let you guys know that yes, I can tell that a lot of this video is just slightly out of focus, but honestly, I don't have the time to refilm this, and because I already did all of the depotting and the decluttering, it just doesn't seem worth it. So hopefully you guys are okay with it. You can still see the general gist of the color schemes of the palettes, so I figured why not go ahead and post it. And yeah, I hope this is okay with you guys, but I didn't have the time to refilm it, so yeah. Okay guys, so I'm just here to show you guys my collection of eyeshadow palettes. I'm gonna try and group based on the brand I like when I see videos like that, and hopefully it comes out pretty good. First, I'm gonna start off with my Anastasia Beverly Hills cloth bound palettes. I have 4 still in my collection. And yeah, so this first one right here is my Modern Renaissance, and as you can see, I have quite a bit of pan. I have pan in 2, 4, 5, 6 shadows, and there's 14 shadows in this palette. I was hoping to get pan in half of the palette before I declutter it. I am pretty convinced that this palette is going to go out of my collection at the end of this year, so by the time I do my my actual collection video, which I think I'm going to be doing those in December, this will probably no longer be in my actual collection, but I still do have this in a project pan, which is why I will be keeping this for the next 2 or 3 months. So okay, next I have my Subculture, and I really do enjoy this palette. I enjoy the color scheme. I enjoy the formula. Yes, it is very, very pigmented, and it takes some time to blend if you take too much product up. But seeing as I know that, I don't have problems. As you can see, there's not many dips. I have the most dip is in Axis, and that is because I use that shade pretty much every time I go into this palette. But because I use this so delicately, I probably will not have pan for a little while. I also really do love Electric. That's another one that I have quite a bit of a dip in. I will be keeping that one. I'm not actually decluttering any of these. Next, I have the Prism palette. This was limited edition for a holiday, I want to say last year. I enjoy this palette mainly for the shimmers. The mattes aren't the best, but they're not the worst either. The color scheme of the mattes is really what just throws me off. But overall, I really do enjoy this palette for what it provides. I really enjoy this Dimension shade and this Lucid shade. These are two of my favorite shades in this palette, not including the mattes. But yeah, really good palette. I will continue to keep it. And the last one is one that was gifted to me, so I will never get rid of this. This will always be in my collection. This was gifted to me by one of you guys. And yeah, I really enjoy this color scheme. I love that you get the nice berry tones. I love that you get the browns, but these are browns that I actually would like to use. I've done a tutorial. I think I actually ended up deleting it because I didn't like the footage, but I could always redo that tutorial. I really did like what I created. This gives you nice neutral and natural looks, which is really Jackie Aina's forte. In case you didn't know, I'm sorry. This is the Jackie Aina ABH palette. Okay, my last ABH palette that I have in my collection is this one right here, and this is the Navina Collection palette volume 3. So as you can see, I have the one that kind of screams fall and even Halloween. I should have recently done another tutorial with this. I'm pretty sure I think I did a 10 looks or something, quite a bit of looks with this palette as well. I really do enjoy it. There are a few shades that are very hardly pressed, so you do have to take the time to really pack them on your lid. But I do enjoy this palette overall, and since I already spent my money on it, I'm just gonna go ahead and keep it in my collection. So far I'm doing absolutely terribly, which is what I honestly expected. I need to find a place to put these. Okay, trying to group these products together is going to be hard. Okay, I'm gonna jump into some brands that I have only one palette from. The first one is Beauty Wide. This is their Seasons palette. I still very much love this palette. I really think that it provides something really unique, and I really enjoy the pigmentation level and stuff. I think this was in my project pan currently. I forgot. I think this is in my project pan. I need to I need to start working on it. See, this is why I make my project pans 3 months, because I forget for the first month, and then the last half of the month I remember. But it's fine. I really do enjoy this palette. I think at most what I might do is I might depot this palette, because this palette is actually no longer being sold from what I can tell. And I really do enjoy it. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But either way, this is definitely staying in my collection. 1, because I'm pretty sure this is actually in a project pan, but 2, because I enjoy the formula. Okay, my lone Sydney Grace palette is the Tiny Marvels palette, which is in collaboration with, with not Puffin's wife, she doesn't go by that anymore, Mel Thompson. And I thoroughly enjoy this palette. I did a first impressions and a 3 looks 1 palette. I really enjoy this palette immensely. I do want to do some more looks and videos with this. I might do a swatch party with this, an eye swatch party, because I think that might be beneficial. We'll see. I'm pretty sure this is going to be limited edition. It's not going to be out for very long, but maybe I won't do it for this, but I would like to do it for couple of these palettes, and just get some more standard videos up for you guys. But anyway, stop babbling. I enjoy this palette. I love it. I'm keeping it. Really good quality, and in case you haven't tried Sydney Grace, this is a good way. Getting a palette from them is a good way to try their formula out for the first time. Okay, and then another one palette that I only have from the brand is the Zuri Cosmetics palette. I really enjoy this palette. This is a glorified basic neutral palette, but the formula is impeccable. I'm really happy that the brand has revived themselves. I was going to pick up a couple of things, but then going to their actual website and seeing what they have, I don't need to pick anything up. I can use this palette, and I can even low-key use some of these shades as blush and highlighter and stuff. So I think I'm just going to do a full face with just this palette and try and use some of these shades. I think this would be an interesting blush blending into this maybe, and then this could be a really cool highlighter, or even using the yellow as a highlighter. So we will see. I will have some fun with this palette hopefully soon. And if I've done any of these like tangential videos, I will try and link them up in the cards for you guys, and or down below. Okay, another brand where I only have one palette from them is right here, Huda Beauty. I only have this palette, which is her new nudes palette. I got rid of my very first Huda Beauty palette, and this is the only one I have left. I hate that there are two pressed glitters. I purchased this during a time where I was kind of indifferent to pressed glitters, and I hate them. I hate them so much. I've actually tried to apply that glitter, and it's awful. It's absolutely awful. That's why I didn't even try the other one. I will say this cream shade is actually not bad, the primer that she has in this palette. And overall, I just really do enjoy the color scheme. I enjoy the blendability and all that jazz. And I also have good memories. I did somebody's makeup. Actually, the first person I've ever done their makeup, I used this palette. So this is gonna stay for now. Had I not picked this up, I would have gotten her like nude 9 pan that was for darker complexions, but because I already had this, I decided not to pick that up. So in case you don't want this one because of the glitters, I would actually recommend that one. And I think I heard good reviews on that one, so yeah. Alrighty, so I have two Natasha Denona palettes. This is the first one. This is the 28 pan purple blue palette. And I picked this up on mad sale, I think 2 holidays ago now at this point. And I really enjoy this palette. My main reason to grab into this palette are for the shimmers. I really think those are what make this palette great. And there are very few true mattes in this palette. A lot of them are like satiny shades. So that's why I don't really get as much use as I would love from this palette. But in her new formulations, which is one of these is the bronze palette, she is starting to provide more diversity when it comes to mattes and shimmers. I absolutely love this palette. I know a lot of people thought that a lot of these shades were the same and there wasn't a lot of depth and diversity. To me, I really think that this is a really good palette. And this is coming from somebody who doesn't really check for neutrals like that. And what I would love is to just continue to collect this size palette, this 65 size pan, and not any of the bigger ones. This is the only big one I have. I don't have any of her 129 palettes. I don't want to. I really just want to get a couple more in this size and then kind of mix around some of the shades. I like this color scheme, but I think I could also make it even better and more true to me if I mixed it with some of the other shades from some of the other palettes from this range that I am interested in. So overall, really excited, really happy. Going to keep both of these palettes. I am doing atrocious. Okay, the next brand I have is Lick and Lash Beauty. I've talked an obscene amount about this particular palette, which is their Playful palette. I love this palette. I think I get so much use out of it. And because I have this, I've been able to talk myself out of a lot of those other UK-based brands such as Beauty Bay and what's the other one that does a lot with Stacey Marie? Oh, I can't think of the brand, but I've been able to talk myself out of a lot of those types of brands because I feel like they have very similar formulations and pigmentations and all that, just because UK beauty, especially Instagram based brands, they all kind of have the same general aesthetic, and this is one of them. So overall, I'm really happy I picked this up. I've gotten so much use out of it. I think I've definitely gotten my money's worth in my opinion. Yeah, I haven't actually like hit pan a lot of shades, but like the amount of looks and creativity that I've been able to just think of using this palette has been very monetarily effective. I don't think that's a word, but we're gonna make it a word today. And then the other palette I have from that brand is this one. This is their Flamingo palette. And I think this is cute. I really do enjoy it. I like that there are a lot more shimmers. I like the shimmers in this palette a lot better than in the Playful palette. And so having these two palettes, that's kind of what I would do. I think this would be a really good, what do the people do? They do the palettes that they do a bingo between the two palettes and the brands or whatever. I think this would be a good brand to do that with. I might actually do that. And either way, like I said, I really do enjoy this palette. I just did a 3 looks 1 palette with this one, I think this past month. And I really do enjoy it. So I'm going to keep both of my palettes from Lick and Lash. Okay, we're going to get rid of this sleeve because I don't even know why I still have it. The first palette that I got from Colored Raine was this baby right here, which is their Queens of Hearts palette. And I have not used this in quite a while. I mean quite a while. But I do want to go ahead and keep this. And I'm going to keep this because I like the color scheme, and I'm going to be decluttering my Modern Renaissance in a couple of months. And this is very much a very reminiscent color scheme, and so I think I will reach for this in a very similar way that I was reaching for that palette. So I will definitely be keeping this. I do have their Cheers to Beauty palette, but I depotted it because I hated the fact that there was a highlighter in the eyeshadow palette, but I still do have that, so yeah. And then the only other palette I have from Colored Raine is this baby right here, which is their Vivid Pigments, which I can't open from the side. Here we go. Their Vivid Pigments, and I absolutely love this palette. Love it so much. I've gotten quite a bit of use out of it this year. Previous year or whenever I purchased it, I didn't get too much use out of it, but this year in particular, I have really been reaching for it, getting a lot more use out of it. I think some of these could be really cool blushes. Even this one definitely could be a cool neutral blush. So yeah, I definitely want to keep this, continue to get more use out of it, and be happy that I have it. Okay, still in my collection, I don't know if I officially decluttered these, but these kind of went into like a ghost collection, if you will, after the debacle. And now I feel comfortable having these in my collection somewhat. So here we go. This one is the KVD Vegan Beauty Divine palette. There is absolutely nothing special about this palette at all. I definitely was on the KVD like automatic pay or automatic buy train at this point. Let me look at this shade. It's really smooth, actually. This is a really nicely formulated palette, but there's quite literally nothing super unique, nothing groundbreaking at all. I'm gonna declutter this. This is gone. Okay, next, let's go with this one next. Next, I have this baby, which is the Saint and Sinners palette. Okay, sorry, my camera shut down because I ran out of memory, or I ran out of battery. Anyways, so this is my Saint and Sinners palette, and there's definitely different textures in here, which make this palette a little bit more interesting, if you will. But in the grand scheme of things, is this like unique? I don't really know. I really don't know. I definitely, the magic of this brand has definitely been lost on me since everything that happened. And I think I'm gonna declutter this too. I don't, there's nothing really unique, groundbreaking at all with this color scheme. It's interesting, but it's not enough. And the actual shades, they're just basic shimmers, and there's nothing like really pulling me to keep this palette. Okay, then we have two palettes in the same kind of family, so I want to go ahead and bring those out now. And the small one is the Metal Matte Mini, and then this one is the original Metal Matte. I paid for this from a third-party person, and this one I got when it released. And for me, I love this shade. Tinsel is literally bomb. It's bomb, right? But I have beautiful single silvers. So do I need this palette? I mean, I will say these mattes are really, really nice. Like really, really nice. They're really pigmented and everything like that. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do is I have a palette where I decluttered, or not decluttered, I depotted one or two of her old mini palettes that I had. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to actually, I said I was gonna do this I think before, and I'm actually gonna do it this time. I am going to depot both of these two palettes. I like these formulas, I like the colors, and I think they could add something. There are definitely some that are like, they dupe each other even between these two palettes, so that's something I need to take into consideration. But either way, I think I'm gonna go ahead and depot these two palettes. And so technically they will no longer be in my eyeshadow palette collection, but I will have them in my collection as well. So that is what I'm gonna do. And the palette that I have them in, I actually take that palette traveling because it's nice and thick and heavy. So I could just have these and kind of create my own perfect looks for wherever I'm at the time. And yeah, especially if more of my friends make me do their makeup, stuff like this will be beneficial. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is all of my Juvia's Place that has stayed in, oh no, just kidding, one left. Now, this is all of my Juvia's Place that has continued to stay in my collection, and I want to go through these really, really strategically because I went through a phase where I was buying everything from Juvia's Place, very similar to Kat Von D, and I've slowly continued to declutter certain ones because I'm just not interested in them anymore, and I want to continue to do that. I want to continue to just be smart with the things that I have, and I've mentioned it once or twice before, but I am hopefully planning on moving and will be moving in 2021, and I would love to move with less stuff than I have currently here. So the first palette we're going to talk about is my Saharan palette. I really reach for this palette mainly for this shade, which is Chad, but I do enjoy the metallics. The mattes leave a little bit to be desired. For me, there's just not enough depth and variety really, unless you obviously use Chad. So either way, I do reach for this. This is my go-to black, so I will be keeping this one. Okay, then we have Juvia's Place Festival, and truly I love this red and these other mattes. That is why I would keep this palette, and I think I am gonna go ahead and keep it because of that. I really do reach for these reds, and this red has helped me to stop me from getting the BH Cosmetics all red palette that everybody was going crazy about, because I realized I have enough reds in my collection, I just don't have them in one palette. So I reach for that red, especially if I do want to use the shimmers in this palette. I do reach for these mattes. So these kind of are palettes that I use in tandem. This is one of my favorite palettes from Juvia's. This is their Tribe palette. I will definitely be keeping this. This will definitely be one of the last palettes. If I ever declutter it, this will be the last one that I do clutter from this collection. And then I have their Zulu palette. I really enjoy this palette for the amount of rainbow that it provides, but also the different undertones and the different types of colors that it provides from the rainbow. So I will definitely be keeping this one. Saharan 2. Ooh, Saharan 2, I really enjoy the mattes and the shimmers. I think I'm going to go ahead and keep this one as well. Really enjoy it. And once again, you get those burgundy, warm-toned neutrals that I do really, really... Did I just mess up my nail? Yes, I did. That I really, really do enjoy. Next, we have Magic by Juvia's Place. And I don't know. These are the two that like I knew would be the ones that I questioned, do I need to keep them? This one over here is the Masquerade. This one is the Magic palette. I think what I'm going to do, There are certain shades in both palettes that I do not want to get rid of. So I think what I'm going to do is depot those shades, put them in the other palette, and then just get rid of the palette with all the shades that I just don't care about. Like I don't care about this shade, I don't care about this shade, don't care about this shade. I have no business keeping this shade. I use it for nothing. And there's some metallics in here that I really enjoy, and some of these are mattes I really enjoy. These blues can be hard to work with. So I may keep one and not the other, but I think that's what I'm gonna do. So this is gonna come over here in my like declutter bin, because I'm technically gonna declutter it, but like at the same time I'm not. So I think I'm doing good, especially because like I haven't decluttered anything that I purchased this year, which is really the main goal. So yeah, now I am down to these. It's really annoying. Now I'm down to these, and technically one of these palettes, which I'm gonna make my own Frankenstein palette. Next, I just wanted to go ahead and talk about this one really quickly. This is the DJ Unique Boutique Holiday Palette, and it is called The Reasons. When I am recording this, she has started her pre-sale for this palette to, I guess, do the last round of orders. I really enjoyed this palette. I've done 3 videos on my channel, so I will try my best to link them up above or down below for you guys. I would recommend it, and check out the videos in case you're interested, but you're not fully convinced. Okay, I'm pretty sure these are my only 2 ColourPop palettes. I've never been a huge ColourPop fan, but I did pick up a couple of palettes around the way, and these are the only 2 that are still in my collection. This one is the Honey palette, and this one is the Blue Moon palette. If we're being honest, I really don't love this palette. I actually had to make it a little bit Frankenstein. I added this dark brown so that I could actually get variety in this palette. This one I absolutely love. So this one's going absolutely nowhere. This one, I don't know. I really don't know. It's not a bad palette, but it's also just not the best. This shade is broken because I'm pretty sure I dropped it at some point in my life. Of course I did. And the shimmers are all golds. They're not yellows, which I was hoping they were going to be. I'm gonna put this in the maybe pile. I may just go ahead and get rid of this palette because I don't really care about it, which is crazy for me to say because you guys all know your girl loves yellows. So yeah. Okay, another palette that is sentimental, which is the only reason why I still have it, is this LA Splash Classic Horror palette. This was my very first 3 Looks 1 palette on my channel, and that quite literally is the main reason why this has stayed in my collection. It's not that it's a bad formulation, I just don't think to reach for it. But after swatching, oh God, I'm gonna keep it. I wanna keep it. I wanna get some more use out of it, because if this is really the pigmentation, I could get a lot of looks and stuff out of this palette. So come on, come on. Oh God. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and keep this. I was thinking I was gonna declutter it because I didn't remember absolutely loving the formulation, but clearly I just forgot. And I'm gonna get rid of the covering. Some brands that I have quite a bit from, I went through a phase where I absolutely adored everything Blush Tribe, and now I'm down to only 3 palettes from them. Blush Tribe has rebranded and they are now called Mayali Beauty. I do want to get 1 palette from the brand now, but I just haven't gotten around to it. The first palette I have from their old branding is the Hazina 2. I love this palette. Love it. Going nowhere. The next one is the Paulina Beauty palette. Love it. Going nowhere. And the last one I have from them is the Fall Fusion palette, which is absolutely going nowhere. I really do enjoy the formulation and the color schemes of all 3 of these palettes, which is why I'm keeping them, even though the brand is no longer a thing. Just to make myself feel better, we're just gonna go ahead and get rid of this one. This is the Bombshell Cosmetica or Bombshell Lashes Candylicious palette. Apparently a lot of things went down with this brand. I didn't know. I didn't. I might actually depot this, and I might actually depot these 3 shades, these 4. I might depot a couple. I have a palette that has depotted shades from another palette that is this size. I do enjoy some of these shade size or these shades. And then, yeah, we're going to just throw it away because I think, like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So it's going to find its way over here on my declutter pile. Okay, next I want to talk about Menagerie Cosmetics. They originally were Makeup Monsters, and I have a sleeve for no bloody reason. Okay, this was actually the first palette I got from them, which was Dragon Child palette. This was when they were Makeup Monsters. I absolutely love this palette. I will be never getting rid of this. Really good color scheme. A little crazy, but it works. Oh, this might be the depth. I need to try that. Oh gosh. Anyways, really good color scheme. I really do enjoy this palette, and I hope to get even more use out of this in the years to come. I don't remember what I got next. I'm pretty sure it was this Whale Song palette, and this is their blue green palette when that was a phase that everybody and their mother wanted to do. I absolutely love this palette. Love the formula. Will never get rid of it. I think next I got the Violet Ink palette, which is the only one from this brand that I have pan in, and I have pan in this baby right here, which is Mimic. I love this palette, and I honestly regret immensely not getting their other mini palette because I just regret it. And then the last palette I have from them is this baby right here, which is the Feral palette, which I guess somehow I knocked over or something. I wouldn't put it past me. Anyways, this is a really interesting color scheme. Not my favorite, not my worst, but I will continue to keep it because I just really enjoy this brand's formula, and I don't want to get rid of any of these. So yeah. Okay, continuing on with indie brands, let's talk about Nomad Cosmetics. So the very first palette I got from them, I believe, I don't remember. It was one of these. Let's just go with this one. This is their Harajuku Tokyo palette. I love this palette. Like a lot of people, I prefer the matte row. The satin row isn't bad at all. I just don't prefer to use satins in my crease. But the row that really makes this palette something is this one down here. These are duochromes and they are beautiful. So I would highly recommend this palette. And yeah, I think we may be doing some more things on my channel with that palette. Next, we have the Nomad Cosmetics Lago di Como palette. I could have sworn I did a 3 looks 1 palette with this baby, but when I was looking on my channel, I didn't see it. Either way, really enjoy this palette. Absolutely adore the formula from this brand, and I will continue to be purchasing from this brand in the future. And then the last one is the one that I recently purchased this year, and this is the Catarina Magical palette. Really interesting color scheme. I like that it's warm tones, and definitely different colors from the brand, so I really do appreciate that. And yeah, like I said in the review, I just wish that it was a darker shade. This Omega shade is just not dark enough for it to really be a deepener shade for me, but as you guys can see from just the palettes that I've shown you already, I have enough deep shades that I can make it work. Just if I wanted to only use that palette, that would be a limitation. Alrighty, so here is another palette that I Frankensteined, and this is from Miscellaneous Cosmetics, and it is their Witchcraft palette. I Frankenstein this baby. I took out all of their mattes because I hated their mattes, and I put in mattes from Igneous Cosmetics, and then I kept their shimmers. I think the shimmers are the only reason to keep this palette, and it's the only reason why I did. I really do enjoy it now, and I will continue to keep it. I would not recommend this brand or this palette. There are plenty of other brands that I've shown you guys today and palettes that I've shown you that have very similar color schemes. Just go with one of those. This is not a brand that I would really tell you guys to put your money towards. I have 2 palettes from Lunar Beauty. The first one is the Strawberry Dreams palette, and out of the 2, this is the one that I least like, but I like it enough to keep it. I hate the 2 blues, hate them so much, but everything else in this palette is really, really nice. I really enjoy how deep this brown can get, and I do enjoy this blue diamond. I know a lot of people were freaking out about it, but to me it works beautifully, and this is a very interesting interesting color with this color scheme. So I really do enjoy this palette, and the packaging is like stupid cool. And this is going to be the only case that I keep because I mean it's a whole vibe, and this was Manny's Halloween release for last year. I know a lot of people are waiting for his release this year. I am among one of them, of course, and I really enjoy this palette. I get a lot of use out of this palette, and I will definitely be keeping it. I really even love the neutrals because they're weird undertoned neutrals, which is what your girl is about. Okay, let's do some Dose of Colors. So I have 3 palettes from Dose of Colors. One is the Marvelous Mauves palette, which I kind of Frankensteined. I added 2 deeper shades just to give a little bit more diversity. And I do enjoy this palette. I recently went back and tried this formulation because for some reason when I purchased them, I was not a huge fan of the formulation. Long story short, I really do enjoy it now. And I like the 2 shades that I added to this palette just to give it more, like I said, diversity, depth, all of that. So I will go ahead and keep these. And the last one that I have is this Friendcation palette that they collaborated with Desi and Katie for, and I really enjoy this for the shimmers. The shimmers are awesome. And I got this 20% off, or not 20, 50% off, which is why I picked it up. Otherwise I wouldn't, because the neutrals are just a little too neutral for me. They're not anything interesting, but I really do enjoy this palette and the formulation. So I will go ahead and keep all 3 of these. Okay, let's go ahead and do my Viseart collection. I got this from a third-party retailer. This is their Dark Mattes palette. I really enjoy this color scheme. I really enjoy this this palette, and I will never let this go, never. Then I have 2 smaller Viseart palettes. I'm pretty sure at one point I said I was going to declutter them, and you know, they're still here. So this one is the Minx palette, and this one is the Amethyst palette. These are cute. Oh, you guys probably can't even see. I'm sorry. This is the Minx, and this is the Amethyst. These are cute. These were in a project pan at one point, and I don't remember. I'm gonna put these in my maybe pile. I don't really need these, and I was using these at one point, mainly for work. I had these in like my work makeup stuff, but like right now, I don't put any makeup on for work, so I don't know about that one. And then this beauty is my Liaison palette. If I can get it open. Come on, I hate this packaging. Anyways, this is my Liaison palette. I really do enjoy the depth and variety that this one provides. This was pretty much my last really cool toned purple palette that I picked up because this just felt like perfect. I didn't need anything else. And yeah, I really, really enjoy how deep that is. So I'm definitely going to be keeping these 2 Viseart palettes, and the other 2 are going to stay in my maybe pile. I really don't know. I might be decluttering those and giving them to a better home. Too Faced next. Too Faced, I have 2 palettes. I have their Chocolate Gold right here, which mainly I got because I was very intrigued. This was my very first Too Faced palette. I was intrigued. I kept hearing everybody rave about these metallics and just the palette in general, and you know, it's cute. It really is. Is this something that I could live without? Definitely, but since I have it in my collection and it's actually a really good formulation, I think I'm gonna go ahead and keep it. I don't know why I just swatched that, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and keep it. And then the other one, which is the Ginger Spice, my best friend got me. So this is going absolutely nowhere. This is gonna be another palette that stays in my collection till eternity, and I'm happy. So yeah, 2 more palettes. These are both from Caladios. Hopefully makeup isn't getting off. This one is the latest release that I picked up from them, which is their VR, what is it called? The Lunar Lavender palette. This is in their Futurism collection. I did do 2 videos. I did a first impressions and a 3 looks 1 palette. So go ahead and check that out in case you are interested. I really do enjoy this palette and the pigmentation, the blendability, all that. So I'm definitely keeping that. And then this one is the VR Neon palette. I am not the biggest fan of these mattes. I think the mattes are okay. You definitely need to build them up, especially this yellow, but otherwise they're okay. It's the shimmers that really are the bread and butter for this particular palette. So yeah, why is it not focused? So yeah, I will continue to keep both of these, and my Caladios collection may slowly build, but you know, sales are your girl's middle name, so right now, so we'll see how it works. Okay, and then Auntie Pat. I actually already decluttered one Pat McGrath palette, I know, a sin, but I had the mini and the full size of this one, which was the Mothership Subversive. So I decided to give the mini to my best friend. And as far as I know, she's giddy as can be about that. And then, like I said, this is the one that I kept. I kept the Subversive Mothership, and recently watching a couple of videos from Kinky Sweat, obviously I knew it, but I never thought about it. You can use these as highlighters, blush, bronzer. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that and maybe make a video out of it. This, this might stop me from getting the new one that I wanted. I wanted the new one because they had a shade like this in it. Oh, I might not need to get that. Oh, that's a good thing. I think I'm going to play with this before the VIP sale happens, and we'll go from there. But yeah, really, really good palette. Happy to have it. And yeah, I don't get as much use out of it as I probably should. But honestly, this is one of those like collector's stuff. And I do not collect makeup, but this is like, Pat McGrath is one of those brands that like, I just want to have one of everything that I think is reasonable. And yeah, so far that's one of them. And this is the other one. This is one of her very first smaller palettes. And this happens to be the Dark Star palette. This is when she changed her packaging a little bit. And this was a holiday release, and can you guys see? Okay, there we go. I absolutely love this palette. I definitely wouldn't have been mad if she got rid of this bloody gold and gave us a silver. I think Pat is averse to silvers. I haven't seen her give us one silver yet. But other than that, really nice. Oh, I didn't know. Ooh, this black. Oh, holy butterball. I might be changing my automatic black. I might be reaching for this palette for black from now on, because that is pigmented and deep. Wow. Well then. Alrighty then. I need to, we're gonna move this to right in my little drawer right here, and sis might be getting a lot more use coming up, which is good because she was not cheap. All right, so I just grabbed the last couple of palettes and let's fly through these hopefully. The first one I want to talk about is Igneous Cosmetics. They are a Canadian-based brand, and they do these really cute kind of tin packaging palettes. So this is one of them. This one is in the shade Deep Blue. This one I believe is Cozy Cabin. And this one is the one that I chipped the most, and it's Lakeside. I enjoy the formula out of all of these. If I'm being completely like 110% honest, I prefer their matte formula over their shimmer formula, because their shimmer formula quite literally is just shimmer. It's not really the best, but their matte formula is fantastic. So I think what I actually might do is go ahead and declutter all of the shimmers, and if I can, try and put all of these mattes in one palette or maybe two, and then just have those like that, because I really am just never going to reach for those shimmers. I know I won't, but I will reach for those mattes. Really good quality of those. Next, my one and only Violet Voss palette is this baby right here, which is my Coral Crush palette. This, once again, is another palette that my best friend got me, going absolutely nowhere ever in my life. I'm really happy she got me this. I just could not bring myself to get this, but I really enjoy the color scheme and I really enjoyed the formula. So this is definitely staying. This is the only other palette that I kept from Clionadh Cosmetics. I got rid of the other one. I just didn't really prefer it all that much, but I really enjoy these mattes along with the shimmers. So these are really good. And yeah, I would recommend this one, although I don't think they sell this one anymore. I think they only sell the Archeo one, which, yeah, like I said, I already previously decluttered. You may be seeing that later on in another video, but that's for another day. Okay, NARS. I only have one NARS palette, and this is their Scandal palette. This is the palette that I reach for during the winter or during New Year's when I actually want to put makeup on. If you guys didn't know, I'm a New Year's Eve baby, like that's when I was born, so I typically don't even put makeup on, as funny as that is, but this is like my go-to New Year's Eve palette. I do now have my DJ Cosmetics holiday palette, but I think I am going to go ahead and just keep this one because, like I said, it is my go-to, and this packaging is stupid nice, and I actually really do enjoy the formula, so we're going to go ahead and keep that. This is the only cover what is it called? The Cover Shot palette that I kept from Smashbox, and this is Pink and Palms. I kept this because I really enjoyed the color scheme, but I don't need this anymore. I have this in other palettes and the formula isn't the best, especially the metallics. And for me, mattes are pretty easy for everybody to formulate, but the metallics are where people fall flat. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just declutter that completely. This is a duo, but I figured I'd keep this in there, and I got this packaging last Halloween from Inglot, and I just filled it with two shadows that I just always feel I can't really get, which was, I thought this was a red. It's definitely not a red. It's more of a pinky shade, and then a true yellow metallic. I really am happy with the true yellow metallic. The pink is okay. It just, I thought this was going to be a red. Either way, I'm really happy with my choice. And yeah, I will definitely be keeping this little duo and reaching for that yellow when I want a yellow metallic, like I couldn't in my honey palette. Okay, I have two Kristen Lee quads that are filled only with metallic shades, and you really see the evolution of her brand within these two quads. So these are some really pretty shades. I really do enjoy her brand, and like I said, you see the evolution and just the packaging of the quads. This is the latest quad that I got from her. This is the first one. You can see they're completely different. And yeah, either way, I really enjoy the formulation of her shadows, and I will go ahead and keep them. What I might do for this quad in particular, I might depot it and put it just in a normal single shadows, and then just use this when I travel. But I mean, as much as I love to travel and as much as I typically do, right now, it's just not feasible. So I might wait until I need a quad, and then I'll pop those out. Okay, I have two palettes from Makeup Addiction Cosmetics, and the first one is this Meadows palette. I actually really enjoy the formulation. This blue is a little tough to blend, but you can get it there, and I really enjoy the shimmer, so this one is definitely staying. And this other one has a combination of quite a few different formulations. This is their Simple palette. I really do enjoy this palette. I will say I've noticed, so the last couple of times I've used this, I've noticed that this shade right here, what is it? What does that say? Soiled Money. It changes color throughout the day. It's really weird and bizarre, but I've noticed that that happens. So do keep that in mind. I think overall it's a really good palette, but just keep that in mind. I do tend to use that with the Night Moves shade, so maybe it's the combination of the two, maybe it's the actual shade, I don't really know. But throughout the day with my oils on my eyes, this starts to look blue, which I don't really understand, but it is a thing that happens. So I just wanted to let you guys know in case you were interested in that palette, because I talk about it or whatever, because I didn't really notice it before, but the last couple times I've used it, I have noticed that. Okay, we're getting down there. We're getting down there. All right, I think all the palettes left, I only have one from the brand, so we're just gonna pull and go. This is my only palette from Linda Hallberg, and this is her Enchanted Secrets palette. This is a really nice kind of all shimmer topper palette. It's not the best. I will say, like, this one, I just swatched this one right here. What is that? Zavara? I don't really know. It's nice because there's some glitter in there, but if I'm being completely honest, you can get shades that are very similar, if not the exact same thing, from indie brands in the US with smaller pans. And you can also take them out the packaging so you can use them more multi-purpose. So for me, this is not something that I would recommend wholeheartedly, but I am happy that I tried the brand and that I have it, so I will be going ahead and keeping it. Silver Beauty, I have their Block Party palette, and this is a favorite of mine. I really enjoy this Nachos shade. I really enjoy Barbecue. It's a really deep purple, and I feel like that is not a shade that most people are willing to put in a palette. So overall, I'm happy, and I will continue to keep this palette. I really enjoy it. Okay, this is my iSlay Cosmetics Slayer palette. I really enjoy this formula. I absolutely enjoy this formula. I love the color scheme. I have meant for what, 2 years now or so to get another palette from this brand. I don't think they've really come out with one that I really enjoy. I will say this little black dress shade, which thank you to whoever told me that. I'm stupid. I just don't know normal colloquial things that normal people do. This black is okay. It's not the best. Definitely not on Pat McGrath's level, but I mean, it's definitely not as expensive as Pat McGrath. I need to get some more use out of it. I really enjoy this palette, and yeah, I just want more. I want more. Okay, next I have my Lime Crime Venus XL palette, and I really enjoy this palette. I'm happy that I picked it up. There are 1 or 2 shades that, like, I have no business going anywhere near my lids. Like this one, Stella. It's not a matte, which I'm happy about. It is a shimmer champagne shade, but still, it just no business. I really enjoyed Phoenix, and I really enjoyed West. West was the one shade that, like, if I was that person that did a one shadow bronzy look, that would be a shade that I would reach for. And I actually have been considering doing that a little bit more lately. So I'll need to keep this palette in the back of my head. This formulation is really smooth. You're not going to get like that glittery situation, but the mattes are smooth, the shimmers are smooth, and there are a couple of satins in here. So overall, just smooth. I mean, that's all I got to say. I do want to get 1 or 2 more palettes from Lime Crime. I just haven't gotten around to it, which is perfectly fine. I'm not really pressed. As you guys can see, I have plenty of eyeshadow, and this is only the palettes, not even including my singles, because my singles, that situation is insane how many singles I have. This is my XNO Cosmetics Berry Kisses palette, and I guess Carla made it or something. I don't really know. I never figured that out. I love this palette. It is so cute, so blendable, so pigmented. I really enjoyed this. And I intend, ooh, that could be another really nice peachy, what's it called? Peachy blush. Yeah, I need to get more use out of this, try this a lot more, and just have some fun with it. So I will definitely be keeping her. And then the last palette that I want to talk about, let me get rid of this sleeve, is Nabla's Dreamy palette. And I reviewed this years ago. I mean, maybe like 3 or so years ago at this point. And my overall synopsis on this palette is that the mattes are cute, the metallics are cute. The problem is there's not enough depth. And because the mattes are so blah, especially for somebody of my complexion, I can get maybe 1 or 2 matte crease combinations, and that's it. So that was my problem. There's just too much limitation because of the matte situation. I do intend to give Nabla more of a shot next year. I talked about that in a video at some point. I will, like I said, I will say these metallics are really, really nice. I know Jessica said that she prefers Nabla's singles. To me, their singles are crap. I tried their singles. I did not like them. I think I'm going to stick with their palettes and maybe just give one more palette a go, especially now that they're in Ulta. I'm willing to give that one a go and at the worst return it. So yeah. I have now gone through all of my palettes. There are only 3 that I put in my maybe pile, and I do want to just quickly go through these. Okay, so I have my ColourPop Honey palette. I have my Viseart Minx palette, and I have my Viseart Amethyst palette. I'm gonna go ahead and say goodbye to these 2 and to this as well. I don't need any of these. They've done their duty. They've done the task. I will see if anybody in my life wants any of these, and I'll give it to them. So let's see what I got total wise when it comes to how many palettes I'm keeping, how many palettes I'm depotting, and how many palettes I'm actually decluttering / throwing away / giving away. Yeah. I'll be right back. Alrighty, so this is a little bit of a mess, but I figured it all out. So I started out with 77 palettes. I'm going to be keeping 59. I am going to be decluttering 7, and I'm going to be depotting 7. I'll show you guys just snippets of the product of my depotting. Alrighty, so it took some time, but I finally got all of the shadows that I wanted, and I figured out what I want to declutter. So I want to just show you guys. This is the shadows that I'm going to be decluttering from Igneous Cosmetics. I'm actually going to just throw away the actual pans and keep the magnetic palette. It could be very useful in time. And then these are the palettes that I created out of the shadows that I have. So this is one. I really like it. There's one kind of shimmer satin thing. I figure I could use that, just foiling it maybe with some spray or NYX glitter glue, and it should work better than I thought, or I think, or it could be a really good inner corner. And then this is another one that I created with just one of their shimmery satiny shade situations. Okay, then I depotted those shades from the Bombshell Cosmetica palette, and those are these 6 on the bottom. These were my 6 favorite. I do need to add a magnet on the bottom, but I actually really like the color scheme and the different textures. I have some like really flaky textures here, and then I have really smooth metallics and quite a bit of matte. So I actually like this palette, how it's come together, and I think it's good to go now. It has some really good colors. I have some warm neutrals, some warm colors, and yeah, I really like it. Then my KVD Vegan Beauty depotting situation. So this is a lot of a mess. The bigger metal matte palette was the shadows were a lot drier, so that's why you can see so many like holes and dips. Had I depotted it earlier, it would look more like this, but either way, I'm okay with it. I have the colors. I will use up what is still left, and then I'll throw it away what's not left. And then I have these really nice shimmers to go with all of these mattes, so I'm really happy with that. And then lastly, I chose colors from the Magic and the Masquerade palette to create this. Once again, the mattes in Juvia's Places palettes are a lot drier in formula. The shimmers were a lot easier to move, so that's why these 3 mattes look choppy and a hot mess. I only kept 2 of the mattes from the original palette, and I put some other fun textures. I think these mattes are really good. I have one red, one brown, another kind of burgundy shade, a real purple, and then like a blurple shade. And I think this really works with the shimmers that I have. I have quite a bit more shimmers in this palette overall, but I like it, and I hope that I will get more use out of this palette now, just in my own realm. So I just wanted to show you guys that really quickly. I told you I would, but I wanted to explain it because it was a lot more integral than I thought originally, or I would have just shown you pictures. So that's it for real now. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, y'all, Black lives do matter. Please remember to register to vote, and to vote, please remember to wear a mask and stay safe.